Today I'm going to start on a bit of a tangent. I've already explained to you how the land of Zarahemla is laid out with all the surrounding wildernesses and the cities round about. Now, way down south is the city of Nephi, and I did crunch some numbers some time ago, and based on the travels of the first king Mosiah, and also the travels of Alma when he fled King Noah. Okay, it was about a 21 day journey from the city of Nephi to the land of Zarahemla. Maybe the city of Zarahemla, who knows how big the land is by comparison, but it's approximately a 3-week journey. Now we're talking men, women, and children, including livestock, and whatever, maybe they had wagons. I don't know what kind of conveyances they had. So, and judging by the number of miles that the Mormon pioneers traveled back in Brigham Young's day, we're looking at approximately 10, maybe 15 miles a day, 20 miles on a good day. So based on all these numbers, I figured out that the city of Nephi down south to Zarahemla is approximately 350 miles, maybe, at minimum, up to about 450 miles. So we're looking at about 375 miles to upwards of 450 miles, depending on the terrain, the wildernesses, who knows what kind of a topography they had to deal with. We really don't know. And of course, the church is silent on this because they don't know either. So, and then I looked at the map of Utah, because I live in Utah, so I wanted to make a comparison. And I found out that St. George, down south at the bottom of Utah, traveling by foot the same distance and the same number of days, would get you to Tremonton, way up north in northern Utah. So from St. George down south to Tremonton up north in the state of Utah is approximately the same distance as the distance between the city of Nephi and the city of Zarahemla, and that's a ballpark guess, and I'm pretty confident in that. So regardless of what of the actual locations of the cities and lands with relation to each other, the distance based on the number of days that it took peoples to travel, especially King Mosiah's people, and also Alma's people. All right, so now that we've got that out of the way, we don't really deal much with the city of Nephi anymore after Alma and Limhi and them, after they left the city of Nephi. Everything pretty much takes place around Zarahemla up until a point where Jesus Christ then visits Bountiful, and then things kind of shift there, and then shift back and forth between Zarahemla and Bountiful, and so forth. But for the sake of these discussions, for the war chapters, we're pretty much looking at the land of Zarahemla and the regions right around it. So anyway, this brings us now to Amalickiah, who wanted to be in charge. He was a prominent Nephite dissenter who defected over to the Lamanites. He riled up and stirred up the Lamanite king, got him all angry, and so now the Lamanite king sent out a proclamation throughout all his lands for all his armies to gather together to go to war against the Nephites. There were some Lamanites that didn't want to do this. They may have been some of those Lamanites that went to war already against Captain Moroni under Zarahemla, and maybe they just didn't want to have anything to do with that anymore. They already knew the capability of Captain Moroni and the capabilities of the Nephites. Who knows? Maybe they're just a bunch of regular people that just wanted to stay home with their families and tend to their farms and flocks and whatever. So, So then the Lamanite king, what he does is, because he's angry with those Lamanites who were disobedient, what he did was he gave Amalickiah charge of all his army. So now Amalickiah, he's got some leadership now. He's got some clout. He is now in charge of King Laman's, or the king of the Lamanites, his armies, and except for those that had fled to a place called Oneida, which is the place of arms. That was probably a military headquarters, and in this place, Oneida, there was a hill called Antipas, and now that is in the same area below or south around Antionum, which is where the Zoramite dissenters lived, where they worshipped on Aramyemtum, and this was down southeast of Zarahemla. Okay, so if we go to Alma chapter 47, verse 4, we read, "Now behold, this was the desire of Amalickiah, for he, being a very subtle man to do evil, therefore he laid the plan in his heart to dethrone the king of the Lamanites. And now he had got the command of those parts of the Lamanites who were in favor of the king, and he sought to gain favor of those who were not obedient. Therefore he went forward to the place which was called Oneida, for thither had all the Lamanites fled, for they discovered the army coming, and supposed that they were coming to destroy them. Therefore they fled to Oneida, to the place of arms." So now that Amalickiah was made commander of the army, he went after these Lamanites who had fled to Oneida, and it wasn't his desire to capture them, to destroy them. He wanted them to join him, and he crafted another sneaky plan to climb up the ranks. And so, yeah, like I said, Amalickiah didn't want to fight Lehonti. Lehonti was the leader of this little Lamanite band who fled, and Amalickiah did not want to destroy him. As a matter of fact, he wanted them to join Amalickiah, and he hatched a plan to do this, to be continued.